Hello everybody, this is Southern Hellenic. Welcome back to another video. So we're doing a non-Hellenic video today, and it's going to be a book review for The Trials of Apollo, Book 1, The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan. Now, for a lot of people who, let me take that back, not a lot of people, but there was some people, Rick Riordan's books really got them interested in reading more about the Greek gods, and of course that would go into like more academic books, and they ended up setting up shrines and altars to the gods and honoring them. And I think it's amazing. I think any book series that gets people interested in something that they would have not normally entertained is great. In fact, one of the accusations that J.K. Rowling suffered, or probably still suffers today, which is absolutely unnecessary and unwarranted, and I'm not going into what is she's got herself into that is absolutely necessary and warranted, was that her books promoted witchcraft and got people interested in Wicca and all that. So it tells you how powerful words are and how powerful people's perception of those words are. So this book came out about 5 years ago. I was about 35, which is shocking because I'm thinking to myself, okay, I was like 35. I was in my mid 30s, I should say that, when this book came out. I actually bought it when it was in hardback, and generally with books, you generally have to wait a year for it to come to paperback if you're interested in reading it as a paperback book. So if anybody has read any of the Percy Jackson books, the last series, let's see here, what was it? The Heroes of Olympus. Gaia, who is literally the earth, we all know her mythologies. She had opened up the doors of death, and all these baddies were coming out. All these people that were steeped in mythology, like Medea and Midas. Oh man. They had been released from the underworld, and they were causing problems. So one of the characters in the book, called Octavia, he was a son of Apollo. And what ended up happening was Octavia had caused such unrest and problems that it led to what Zeus did to Apollo. Now, in mythology, Zeus has made Apollo mortal twice. The first major time that he made him mortal, or, in the book, Apollo says that he's been made mortal twice. So that kind of like tells you that the only way that Apollo could have been banned from Olympus is if he had been made mortal. And so him and Poseidon were made to build the walls of Troy. The second time he was supposedly made mortal, he actually became a shepherd for this one guy, who ended up treating him very nicely. And according to Apollo, I'm gonna have to look up that particular myth. I know he says in it that he actually blessed him with something. I don't know if it was his son became a prince or whatever. But yeah, so Apollo said that he's been made mortal twice, and in this book, this is actually the third time that he's been made mortal. So he's actually this boy called Lester. Lester Papadopoulos. It's probably Greek, or it might be one of his edifices. I don't know. I have to actually look it up. But so apparently, when Gaia opened up the doors of death, the Python. Now, in Greek mythology, the Python was the original oracle. So, about like Oracle of Delphi. So he actually lived inside of the cave. Now, some people say that the oracle was originally to a goddess known as Ge or Ge, not the electric company, not General Electric, GE or Ge, which was Gaia. So the Python actually left the underworld and has now settled back into the Oracle. And so all the oracles now, Apollo says there are 5 oracles. Now the Grove of Didion was one of the oldest oracles, and Apollo says that it was actually created by the goddess Rhea. And what ended up happening, and this person is mentioned in this book, and Apollo also mentions the closing of all of the Greek temples by a very nasty son of a bitch called Theodosia. And in this book, Theodosia is still a sore subject for him. In fact, he says that he actually at one time had basically took his picture, put it on a archery target, and was shooting arrows at it. So in other words, every time you mention him, you get him really angry. Another thing that Apollo attributes to Emperor Theodosius is the burning of the Grove of Didion. Now, what that actually means is that when Theodosius was going around and having these ancient sites destroyed, the Grove of Didion was one of those sites that was destroyed. And because it was a grove, I don't really believe that he burned the grove down, because even a wise person knows that if you set anything on fire, there's a good chance it'll get out of control, and it might end up burning other things, including people's homes, and that's not how you win points with your subject. Yeah, I just burned this pagan grove down, but sorry I got your house. No. No. It was more of that the fact is that it was chopped down. Not just chopped down, but uprooted. And I'm actually going to see if I can find out if there's information of where the Grove of Didion was located at, and see what might have been built on it. Because generally, when you clear out a grove, generally you build something on top of it. You might be a church, or it might be a city, don't know. But that was something that the Christians did back then. They would actually chop down, not burn down. Now, the Great Fire of Rome is a prime example of what happens when you burn something. Generally, it gets out of control. So I really doubt that Theodosia burned the Grove of Didion, because he knew that fire could get out of control. So most likely, it says that the Grove of Didion was actually, that it was destroyed, and mentions the word cut, meaning probably that it was not only cut down, but also uprooted, because trees have a very bad habit of regrowing. But in the book, the Grove of Didion actually reforms, signaling that the grove is actually, my impression is it's a sentient being, or it's a being that you can destroy, but reforms somewhere else. So you can't destroy something that has the ability to regenerate. It might regenerate somewhere else, but it always has a habit of regenerating. I really did enjoy this book. There's a lot of mentions of like mythology in it and everything. And overall, it's a really great book, and I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it when I read it 5 years ago. So the next book will be The Dark Prophecy. That book I have not read. So I give this a 5 stars and all that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the book review. Like I said, I'm going to look those up and see what I find. But until next time, may be happy, healthy, most importantly be safe. And may the gods bless you. Bye.